And again, thank you for this opportunity, and God bless America.
Mayor Danny Juarez.
You know, this year at one of our city council meetings, we recognize that these groups, the American Legion, Post 314, and the VFW, Post 2075, they do a lot for our community, and they're there to help those that come from wars and get them reacclimated into our society. But there's another group that I just wanted to briefly mention, and that's the Wounded Heroes of America. So Mike Talala, if you're here, if you could please stand up with your group of veterans. Please give them a round of applause. These men and women, came from a most recent war, and here again, if it wasn't for all the work and battle that they did, we wouldn't be here today. Memorial Weekend is more than a 3-day weekend. Matter of fact, I saw a news clip this morning, and they were interviewing veterans, and the response that I heard most often was, every day is Memorial Day. Each Memorial Day, we remember those who gave their lives in order to protect all we hold so precious. Throughout the history of the United States, brave men and women have fought to maintain our God-given liberty and freedom. Far too many have died in the service to our cause, as they have not only protected our nation, but helped to free people worldwide who also sought liberty and freedom. Though we can never bring those lives lost back, we can make sure we thank our members of the military at every opportunity. As a nation, we are truly blessed to have such fine men and women among us. I am always in awe of every man and woman who serves. In the world we live in today, it is inspiring to see these brave citizens who honor our nation with their sacrifices, so the rest of us can enjoy the life we do. The ideals and patriotism of those who answered the call to service stand as an inspiration to every new generation of Americans. The same principles of revolutionary beliefs for which our forebears fought and died are still at the issue in the world, and the challenge against them can only be met through the same qualities of courage, strength, and unflinching determination shown by our noble dead. There are never enough words to express the gratitude we all owe these men and women, or the families of those who have sacrificed their lives for all of us. The high courage and supreme sacrifice of Americans who gave their lives in battle have made it possible for our land to flourish under freedom and justice. Memorial Day each year provides a fitting occasion upon which our people may not only commemorate the nation's heroic dead, but also unite in prayer for the preservation of liberty and peace of freedom from the threat of war. God bless all who have served and all who have given the last full measure of devotion.
We have Council Member Alex Vargas.
I'd just like to, really thank all the veterans and all those who have passed and being able to sacrifice, give the ultimate sacrifice so that we can do all the great things that we do with this liberty that we have, which no other country can even approach what we have here in this country. I joined the Sons of the American Legion like 2 or 3 years ago through my father, who was a Vietnam era war veteran. So I'm really proud to be amongst great company, and it goes beyond the pool plane in the back. It goes beyond the fish and the dinner meals that we have on Fridays. I think it does go a lot beyond the sacrifices for those who are still with us and those who have passed. I really think about it and I reflect. These sacrifices have allowed for us. Let's compare what we have compared to those other countries. It doesn't come for free. I'm able to use my cell phone to dial into any other country into the world and to search the internet, to be able to get any information from any part of the world. While in other countries, all you get is a black and white communal TV where a government spits its rhetoric over and over and over one day. This is freedom, being able to do what we do. The other thing is being able to go into Costco or a hometown buffet and being able to select anything you want to eat. While in other countries, all you get is a sack of rice and a chicken to be able to hold you over for 2 weeks or sometimes even a month. Being able to go out and purchase an SUV if you want, or a small car and be able to travel. While in other countries, you just walk around or use whatever government instituted transportation or 1950s cars that are left over from previous administrations or previous periods of their time. So I'm very, very thankful for all the sacrifices that all the veterans and those who have passed that have given to us, because that's the price of freedom. Being able to be here, being able to speak our minds, being able to agree and disagree on issues, and at the end be able to come to a consensus and say, you know what, we're very thankful, and this is what makes us Americans.
Olivia Valentine.
Everyone is very pleased to welcome all of the veterans here today, and I'm delighted that we are giving special recognition to the Vietnam era veterans. I hate to admit it, but I'm old enough to remember that era. And I remember how confused the country was about that war and how the country took it out on the veterans who sacrificed, and all they were interested in doing was serving their country. And the country did not appreciate them then. And we're trying to make it up to you now. We want to make it up to all of you who sacrificed so much during that war, because we do appreciate you and we do recognize that you love your country as we all do.
Neela Michelin.
Today I'd like to give you an example of what Congresswoman Maxine Waters talked about, the ultimate sacrifice. Eduviges Wolf immigrated from here from Mexico with her parents. She was a graduate of Lusinger High School and was an explorer in the Hawthorne Police Department. She enlisted in the Army and served in Afghanistan, despite being married and having 2 children. While serving in Afghanistan, she died during an attack a few days after re-enlisting for 3 years. So how many people would do that? How many people would leave their family and go to a strange place to defend our freedom? That's why we're here today, to honor those people like Miss Wolf and the thousands of others that have made the ultimate sacrifice.
We gather today in honor of the brave heroes of our country and who made the ultimate sacrifice. It's because of the resolve that we are able to enjoy the lives we live today. The lives we've grown accustomed to here in America, living free from tyranny and fear. Today we honor our fallen comrades of the United States military in the form of remembrance. And with it comes a deep sense of appreciation for their selflessness in protecting the land of the free and all they've done to ensure it stays that way. Each and every one of us owes a great debt to the courageous men and women who have given their lives to protect ours. While giving back to the extent they deserve is impossible, today, as we should every day, we merely attempt our repayment in the form of remembrance. We dedicate this day to them. As we go about our activities, we should take the opportunity to not only remember the sacrifices of our fallen and mourn their departure, we should celebrate the spirit with which they served and reflect upon their contributions in making America truly the land of the free. It's because of the members of America's armed forces that we've been afforded the privileges of living in the greatest nation in the world. With that title comes a standard of responsibility, a responsibility to defend the homeland at all cost, and a responsibility to help other nations around the world when they need us. The valiant men and women of the United States military who perished while defending our nation understood this responsibility and took precedence above all else. Though they were our mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, and friends, when our nation called, they did not hesitate to answer, knowing that they may not have made it home to us safely. They marched forth into unfamiliar countries, immersing themselves into dangerous situations. They showed great acts of selflessness for all who were to benefit from their fight. They gave up everything. They had to create better lives for people all over the world, not just here at home, but for generations to come. Today we recognize all they accomplished, their sacrifices, their spirit, the patriotism they encompassed. George William Curtis once said, "A man's country is not a certain area of land or mountains, rivers, and woods, but it is a principle, and patriotism is loyalty to that principle." We take great pride in the fact that our nation has the most patriotic, loyal men and women on earth who are willing to step up to accept the demands that are asked of them. Our heroic service members who have perished in the name of freedom serves as an inspiration to us all. They teach us about bravery, strength, and pride. They are the great protectors of the United States Constitution, and in their memory, we should reflect upon their happiness in our lives, the happiness they've ensured we're free to pursue. Not one of our fallen comrades' lives has been lost in vain, not one. Too often we take our freedom for granted. We take this day, as we should every day, to come together as an appreciative people, grateful for everything we have, for it is much more than any other country's. We take this day to thank and give credit where credit is due to those who paid the price for our freedom. We also recognize our military families as a whole for the sacrifices they make. There is no family stronger than a military family. I want to say thank you. The strength and support you show our service members deserves much credit. While we will never be able to replace the lives of those lost fighting for our nation, we will pay tribute to their memory for generations to come by passing along the lessons we were unknowingly teaching us. Stand up for others who are weaker than ourselves. Stand together, there is great strength in numbers. Do the right thing. Right always overcomes wrong. With our fallen heroes and their families in mind, I ask that before each of you leaves here today, you make a promise that you will never forget. That you will live by the same principles that our fallen stood for. God bless all our departed heroes, their families, and God bless America. Presentation of our memorial wreaths. Our reading of our deceased members. Chaplain Swain, would you please come forward?
Robert A. Boyer.
No response.
Bill A. Christopher.
No response.
Ladd R. Gerardo.
No response.
Gordon Hancock.
No response.
John F. Lipscomb.
No response.
Paul R. Maynard.
No response.
James E. McCain.
No response.
Robert A. Ramhorst.
No response.
William F. Scott Jr.
No response.